Moin, moin. Okay, eine Sache überprüfen. Ist der Stream auf online? Ist der Stream online und nicht privat? Also öffentlich? Das sieht gut aus, das sieht gut aus. Ja. Schnauze-Werbung. Ich kann keiner leiden. Jo, ist auf öffentlich. Perfekt. Herzlich willkommen zu Tales of Arise. Ich wollte schon wieder Spieler sagen. Tales of Arise natürlich. Ich weiß gar nicht, wo steht. Wo sind wir? Hatte ich kurz einen kleinen Schlaganfall gehabt, einen innerlichen. Sprich mit den Leuten, die Lords unterstützen. Das kriegen wir, glaube ich, hin. Das sollten wir, glaube ich, hinkriegen. Ridiculous. Geradezu abscheulich, ja. Ich habe gerade nur etwas über Vulran gelesen. Kann ich euch helfen? Okay. Ich war immer ein überzeugter Unterstützer von Lord Udvar Kiltris. Wäre er nicht so plötzlich auf der Oberfläche gestorben? Wohl noch immer. In meinen Augen ist Lord Urwiel der wahre Wasserlord. Ich glaube keine Sekunde daran, dass er bei einem Unfall starb, wie es heißt. Und was Valrons Herrschaft über Garnafaros angeht, ich mag gar nicht dran denken, er versklavte nicht nur Dahna, sondern auch Renaner. Wir mögen in einer Gesellschaft leben, in der die Sieger alles bekommen, aber seine Handlungen verstoßen gegen die Grundgebote unseres Volkes. Und außerdem hat bis er auftauchte, hatte ich noch nie davon gehört. Das kann nur bedeuten, dass er zum niedersten Pöbel der Gesellschaft zählt. Dass eine derart gemeine Familie plötzlich ein Astralpraktiker hervorbringt, der zum Lord aufsteigt, ist völlig unerhört. Nichts von ergibt Sinn, ganz zu schweigen vom Aufruhr, der hier zuletzt herrschte. Was bin aus unserem Volk? Was wird...
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
So, dann haben wir noch einen. Oh, guck mal, die haben auch heilende Astralkraft.
Pardon me.
Dieses Gebiet unterliegt der alleinigen Jurisdiktion von Haus Kineris. Ich muss euch auffordern, sofort zu gehen. Gewiss wollt ihr nicht vergeben, nichts ahnend über unser berühmtes Haus zu sein, beherrscht vom geschätzten Lord Almetria. Falls doch, rufe ich euch an, rufe ich euch an, gut zuzuhören. Nun, ihr solltet so oder so gut zuhören. Ist euch hier aufgefallen, dass in der Geschichte von Lineges nur wenige Frauen den Titel des Lords erlangten, um den Kampf um die Krone anzutreten? Es gibt zahlreiche Theorien zu den Ursachen, aber Lord Almetria räumte alle Zweifel der Neinsager durch schiere Macht aus. Sie stürzte nicht nur ihren Vater und vorheriger Familienführer, sondern entfernte auch ihren älteren Bruder, um den Thron selbst zu besteigen. Sie ist eine Frau, die von nichts Halt macht, zu erlangen, was sie möchte. Eine Frau, die ihren Feinden keine Gelegenheit zum Angriff bietet. Lord Alimetria ist wahrlich eine talentierte Frau, niemand sagt. Sonst verkörpert die Tugend unserer Meritokratie besser als sie. Bald schon wird das Zeitalter einer glorreichen Herrscher über den ganzen Lineges anbrechen. Ah, ja.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Oh, was haben wir hinten eine Truhe? Schafsfleisch. Können wir eigentlich, wo haben wir es denn? Wo haben wir es denn? Wo haben wir es denn? Okay, egal, wir gehen. Ist die richtige Richtung? Ja. Hier mal lang. Schauen wir mal überall kurz um, ob es hier noch irgendwie was zum Looten gibt.
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dahna already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still... kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Perfekt.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? what she said about you killing someone?
Er hat auch schon mehrere
Each of us have our
getötet.
pasts.
Stell doch jetzt nicht so an.
I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Perfekt. Okay, das ist geil. Einen Moment bitte. Jo. Aha, noch eine Truhe. Nie mehr mit. Okay, da ist nichts. Aber auch also optisch wieder eine sehr, sehr schöne Welt, wie ich finde. Tofu. Ist das ekelhaft. Ja.
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah. It must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renans sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dahna, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagin and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagin had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagin was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less, she would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Dahnans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me.
Steckt doch irgendwas Gutes in ihm.
So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right. Alphen.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I wanted to say thank you. Ja, schön, dass wir trotzdem noch bei den Charakteren immer wieder neue Storys erfahren. Oh, aha. Perfekt, können wir mal rasten. Ich raste aus.
This looks perfect. Guaranteed to hit the spot.
This looks perfect. Um Gottes Willen. Um Gottes Willen da. So, was hat er hier Hübsches? Davon können wir mal ein bisschen was kaufen. Und können wir welche kaufen. Oh. Verprasser. Gib 400.000 Geld aus. Nice. Ja, ich kaufe mal lieber von dem mal 12. Ja, 400 KP brauchen wir gar nicht mehr. Das ist... wäre Schwachsinn. Wie viel haben wir denn eigentlich noch? Wir haben 37.000 Geld. Das ist nicht wirklich viel. Das ist nicht wirklich viel. Oh, wir können für 29.000 verkaufen. Okay, wir haben... wo war das gewesen? Hier? So, ja. Wir haben sogar für die... neue Rüstung.
Never be too prepared. But did we have to spend so much?
Mal kurz schauen. Okay, hier oben waren wir noch nicht gewesen. Schau mal kurz rein, ob es hier noch irgendwie... Loot gibt, aber nee. Ist alles dunkel. Gut, dann können wir rüberdüsen. Aha.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Ja, war ja klar, dass die uns angreifen. Das war ja klar.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Ho! I am Lord Dohalim of Helden Menencia. I command you. The rest of the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one.
In a bind?
It's almost too strong. Be my guest. Try harder.
Automatisch.
Commander of Heaven.
Ready and
No further.
Astral energy.
Say no more.
those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been high on threats. A few frenzied Zeugles during experiments here and there, but not much else.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers and slaves we met back in Ganath Harros. The ones in blind devotion to Volron.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here, and the soldiers are their way of letting us know.
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, they're starting to develop quite the growing list of adversaries. At least we'll know to keep our wits about us.
Okay, wir müssen eh da lang, das heißt... Was ist denn das für ein dicker Zeugel? Eieieiei. Ja, moin moin. Plop, plop, plop. Plop, plop, plop.
Commander of Heaven! Will this help? Now or never.
Bring you down.
Lunarongo!
I'll heal you all! Botan!
Double Demon Fang!
Shattering the pieces! Attack time!
This one's mine.
Demons descend!
Flashing Fang!
Sehr schön.
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
Können wir uns auf jeden Fall nochmal richtig gut hochleveln.
Seriously? Is this a joke?
Now you see what I can do! Denied! Flew away! Right! Flew away! Flew away! Try harder! Burning slap! Prepare to be seized! Burning slap! In a bind! Flew away!
I don't even know the word defeat.
Burning slap! The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Piercing roar! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
Alter, das Vieh aus.
The flame inside me yearns
Take this!
Au. Au.
Do without this pain.
Sleep now. Here, let me help. I'll be saving this oxygen. I'm ready to go. The waters of astral energy.
Say no more.
Nice.
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
Nice.
Seriously? Is this a joke?
Where are you going?
Ready to go!
War mal kurz, bis wir hochgeheilt sind.
I can't let the hatred consume me.
In a bind. Take this.
Healing circle.
Leave the ensnaring to me.
We're not finished.
Lightning orb.
Look sharp. Lightning tiger blade.
Dance in the wind. Tiger blade.
Not today.
Feel.
We did it.
Tiger blade. Annihilation. Blah, blah, blah. Sleep now. I'll be saving this one.
Now we're not.
I'm on a roll.
Fire support.
Let's do it.
On guard!
Ui. Kritisch.
I can feel my power growing. Like this should be easy. Now you'll learn! Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! I won't show you any mercy! Take this! Double Demon Fang! Eternal devastation! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Here, let me help.
Be still! Tear!
I'm all stopped up.
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Here's the astral energy.
Say no more!
Hey, anyone else think this might be a touch too dangerous?
Ridwell's right. We should fall back to regroup and try again later.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Is someone making them stand guard over the Forbidden Zone?
An opponent like this should be easy. Not today!
That'll bring you down. In here, not in your dreams.
No further! Time to cross blades!
This one's mine. How about this? Thank God. Perfect move. Look sharp. Here, let me help.
Blade!
This one's mine!
Not ready to go. Dance in the wind. Feel.
Time to shine!
I'll be saving
This
the
one's all mine! Demon Fang! Jump around! Eat this!
This one's mine! This one's mine!
Dragon!
Feel that face! Time to shine!
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for! Get behind me!
Good! I'll leave it to you!
Look sharp!
Eternal Good! Take this! Double Demon Fang!
Shield and
Here goes. Hope this works.
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
appreciate the help!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
A freezing
Vacuum blade!
Firmament render! Switch to offense! I can do it! Damn it! Timer's up!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! You picked the wrong fight!
I never miss!
You require a hand. Rising Phoenix!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil!
Ferocious Fury!
Can't get out of this!
Demon Fang!
Armor won't save you!
Vanquish darkness!
Here I come! No escape!
Healing circle!
Flame inside me!
Divine
You!
strength!
Electric!
Magic is
Need to
there!
pull
Air
myself.
thrust. No more playing nice!
Take this!
I'll heal you all!
Burn!
How about this? Here!
Shockwave Blast!
Shield! Gemini Aqua! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Searing flame! Reload! I'm out of annihilation! Illuminate the dark!
Dragon Sword!
Holy light! Burning strike!
Regulate Alpha!
Raging cascade!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
A hard-won victory.
Läuft. Ich level jetzt mich erstmal ein bisschen hoch, dementsprechend alles entspannt.
Get lost! Shattering raging piercing! Attack us! Dance in the raging field! If it's in the sky, I'll be saving this one! It's like trying to keep up with a wall! Annihilation! Hear me! Flame of death! I never miss! Hurricane divine! Going in! Pierce evil! Tiger blade!
Hold nothing back!
Can't be squirrel!
Not today!
I'm healing circle! Do it!
Carve through armor!
Need to pull myself together!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Dead! Double blow! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Be still!
Time to shine!
Double Demon Fang! Rising Wyvern!
Ground and power! Burning strike! Glacial
Azure
spear!
Storm!
Pierce evil!
Double Demon Fang!
Illuminate the dark!
Azure Storm! Demon Fang!
You can't get out of this!
Burn in hell!
Flame of fury! Burning strike! Glacial speed! Primed and ready! Hurricane swirl!
Hurricane Swirl!
Steel river! Here's a healing art! First aid! Tiger blade! Ground and power!
Blew away!
Lunar arc! Flame of fury! Burning
Dragon Swarm! Pierce through!
now!
Demon Fang!
I'm ready for the next battle.
Ist ja alles an Blut? Ja, hol doch die Waldfee.
I'll do my best.
Here I go. Far beyond the hurricane. You won't bow out nice. Then you leave me no choice.
Fire support! Rising Wyvern!
A whirling struggle. Not on my watch.
Be still! Ignite!
Out of ammo. Flaming meteor. Tempest swell.
Here I come! Prepare to be seen!
Make it right.
Rising light!
On guard. Astral energy.
Say no more!
With this, I can become even stronger.
So, vielleicht AP nochmal hochziehen.
Hi, Hoodle. How long are we gonna keep this up for exactly? Glacial steel. Far enough. If it's in the sky, it's mine. This one's mine.
Fire support! Move away!
This one's mine. Nail strike.
Rising over! Burn in hell! Listen! Demon Fang! Destruction! Smash you!
Now.
Double Demon Fang!
Flare tornado.
Take this! Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Destruction!
Radiant spear.
Take this!
Where that came from? Magic and laser. Feel.
Take this!
Failure to
In a bind! Double this!
Where that came from?
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
I don't feel so hot.
You should sit this one out though.
And miss all the fun. No way.
Explosive ring! Not today! Take this!
Appreciate the help.
I'll smash you!
Instant. Do it. Get toasty.
Burn strike!
Glacial spear. I never miss.
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Vanquish darkness. Spear.
Rising Wyvern!
Look straight.
Rising Phoenix!
Divine strength.
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
I'm out of it.
A hard-won victory.
Hard-won Victory. 21.000 Gold. Galt nehme ich gerne mit. Ah, muss meine Rollos runterlassen. Scheiße. Ah, okay. Mal schauen, wo es jetzt hinführt. Bella, grüß dich, hi. Ich hab gedacht, du bist noch ein bisschen länger weg. Wegen Umzug. Oder habt ihr jetzt schon Internet?
This must be it. The entrance to the forbidden
Oh,
zone.
da habt ihr schon Internet.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was sovereigns only.
Alphen.
Das Herrscher-Symbol, aber...
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
What the?
Bin mir da vorne, ach so. Ach so. Wir haben einen Blick in der Vergangenheit.
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the sovereign and maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Dahnan. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imeris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dahna. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
Sag ich's doch.
It was Naori. Naori Imeris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Aber ist es denn die
She
Schwester,
really
oder?
does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
Alphen ist verwirrt, ich
That's
bin
all very well
verwirrt.
and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Dahnan astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dahna's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegus. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw? But how? And why?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion, you okay?
Yeah, it was all just a little sudden, that's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dahna from the Renans. But now that we're here, it seems those same Renans might have it just as bad. I'd like to liberate them too if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from the truth.
Whether you're on Dahna or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Your indignation and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
Ja, es war jetzt nur ein Bot gewesen, deswegen. Es war ja auch wieder so ein Webseiten-Ding. Geschmache. Das Geile ist, was mir aufgefallen ist, ein normaler Zuschauer, ich weiß noch nicht, seit wann das neu ist, gab es früher nämlich nicht. Der ist jetzt normale Zuschauer. Also ich habe jetzt mal mit meinem privaten Account wegen der Soundabstimmung mal reingeschaut gehabt. Und ich habe die Nachricht gelöscht. Ich selber als Streamer habe die Nachricht gelöscht. Und habe ihn ausgeblendet, die Person. Eine normale Person kann trotzdem aber die Nachricht aufrufen. Das heißt, ich kann jetzt quasi in meinem privaten Account, wenn ich jetzt in den Chat reingehe, kann ich diese gelöschte Nachricht aufrufen und sehe, was diese Person geschrieben hat. Und das muss neu sein, das gab es davor nicht. Aber ich frage mich, warum ich mit meinem privaten Account warte mal. Hat jemand von euch einen privaten Account und kann mal reinschauen in den Chat mit seinem privaten Account und schon aber die Nachricht aufrufen kann? Weil ich kann sie. Entweder ist es ein Fehler von Google, weil auf meinem Handy quasi einmal die Ragosh YouTube-Account drauf ist, meine private. Das wäre natürlich richtig mies. Aber mein privater Account ist hier kein Mod, das macht aber auch gar keinen Sinn. Tamia, grüß dich. Einen wunderschönen guten Abend wünsche ich dir. Okay, also ohne Account, wenn ich jetzt in den Internetbrowser reingehe, sehe ich es nicht. Hab's gerade, ich sehe es nicht, okay. Aber ich gerade kurz Schiss gehabt, ey. Da habe ich jetzt gerade kurz richtig Schiss gehabt. Weil ich kann es mit meinem privaten Account. Ich habe eine Vermutung. Ah, okay. Ich bin mal, okay. Ja, gut. Aber, warum ist mein privater Account hier Mod drinnen? Also das muss... Ja, okay, gut. Dann vergesst, was ich gesagt habe. Dann vergesst, was ich gesagt habe. Dann ist es... Dann vergesst es, was ich gesagt habe. Oh nein, Boss-Time. Ich glaube, es gibt Boss-Time. Na, das fängt ja wieder super an. Übrigens, Vodafone hat übrigens meinen Tarif heute nicht umgestellt. Also, ne, es dauert nur maximal 24 Stunden, dann ist der Tarif umgeschaltet und die Leitung ist umgeschaltet. Ja, ja. Am Arsch 24 Stunden. Am Arsch. Ich schaue nochmal kurz sicherheitshalber nach. Vertragsdaten, aber ich glaube nicht. Höchst interessant. Also, was? Ich glaube, es gibt einen Bossfight erstmal. Mir geht soweit ganz gut. Ich bin eigentlich happy darüber, dass es endlich, Wochenende ist. Da bin ich dann doch sehr happy drüber.
Father, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
Okay, Bossfight. Fängt ja super an. Was ist denn das? Was ist denn das für ein Dulli? Jo, Bossfight.
How about with a stone that looks suspiciously like a master core?
Where did she get her hands on that?
First we handle the Zubu, then we get some answers.
Here's where you need to go. Not in your dreams. First aid.
Appreciate the help.
Dance in the wind.
So, kurzes Concentration jetzt ja angesagt. Komm, Chan. Das war ja nix. Das war jetzt absolut gar nichts gewesen. Sehr schön. Kernbrecher. Sammeln. Yes!
Now it's just her! Varia, can you hear me? Varia!
She's preparing another summoning!
The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more.
Forgive me.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her. I meant you.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case...
I'll take her off your hands.
You? Avakir, what are you doing here?
I was curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnigan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're up to. But whatever it is, I hope it all works out.
Thank you.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, he was always hanging back, worrying about everyone else. As for Faria, it's always the closest to me who get hurt.
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her, do you?
Somebody got to her, to strike back at me. Someone who knew me well enough to know that I'd hesitate to fight back. And the same goes for you as well. Neither you nor Faria would have lost loved ones, if it wasn't for me.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother, under orders from Almadria. As for Tarnigan, if it weren't for the crown contest, he'd still be alive. That and the whole damn hierarchy that makes it possible. But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole messed up system that treats people as expendable.
Indeed. Ridding society of this blight is really the only way I know how to atone for my sins.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. No amount of soul-searching or trying to make amends is going to change that. Forgiveness, acceptance, those ships have sailed.
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never forget. You keep it in your heart always. And then you go on living. Not for those already past, but for those still alive.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can make a difference in the lives of others. Lives being the operative word.
That's what living's all about. Being able to still make a difference. Punishing yourself for the past won't make the pain of your conscience go away.
Only fixing the problem in its stead. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. You have to live for tomorrow, Dohalim, not for yesterday. And not only that, you need to live for yourself, and for the change that you still can be.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve. The Forbidden Zone, remember?
Shion,
Huh?
thank you. You have my deepest gratitude for what you did for Faria.
Glad to be of service.
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much for her as well. I'm most grateful.
Oh, shucks.
Danke dir auch, Bella. Bis zum nächsten Mal.
We're on the same team, right? Let's move on.
Do you think Faria was really being controlled by someone?
Certainly seemed that way. The question is, who? The Red Woman?
The same person who's behind all of this, I'll bet. Whoever that is.
Brainwashed or otherwise, the feelings of resentment she holds towards me are real.
Someone used her because they knew we'd hold back. If that's not playing dirty, I don't know what is.
It does tell us one thing at least. Someone here in Lenegis is watching us. Someone who means us harm.
There's no question. That attack was meant for us alone.
by someone capable of getting inside a person and manipulating them like a weapon. We need to find whoever it is, fast.
Naja, es kann ja vielleicht die Lord-Tante das sein. Dass die vielleicht die Fähigkeit hat. Oder der Schwerttyp. Wo wir nicht seinen Namen wissen, der uns auch angegriffen hat. Vielleicht hat ja jemand die Möglichkeit. Könnte ja gut möglich sein.
What is it, Rinwell? Do you hear something again?
Yeah. It's that voice.
Bitte was?
The will of Dahna's astral energy.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
Die Dornen. Sind es ihre Nerven?
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it. The end of time.
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into her, it reminds me of Shion's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of, it must be dark astral energy, right? And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a feeling, just like the will of Dahna.
But the will of Dahna is made up of astral energy too, right? And if that's what's been showing us these visions, I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dahna's will would never want oblivion.
But you can't say that for sure.
Cut it out, you two. Squabbling over theories will get us nowhere.
Let's keep moving. If it's Dahna's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us. But if it could lead us to the truth, then I want to find out more.
Shion's right. All we can do is keep going. If these really are Naori's memories we're watching, there could be truths in them I was never aware of. And I think they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
Finally, we begin to understand what the thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3 centuries ago.
But we still don't know how to get rid of them. I just hope we can find a way.
Ich hoffe auch.
Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorns, as well as my own past. I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens. I'm determined to save Shion and Dahna. Nothing I learn can change that.
That vision we saw. It was as if it was meant specifically for us.
What do you make of it? Do you still think the will of Dahna might be involved somehow?
Maybe it's trying to tell us something. But what?
Well, it could be supernatural. You know, like seeing dead people, messages from beyond the grave, ghost-type stuff.
That's your grand theory? That we're being haunted? Come on, Law.
Wait. He might be closer to the mark than you think. What if a person's thoughts and deeds were to somehow become indelibly etched into the ether of a place? And what if those with a connection could then somehow pick up on them?
You think that's what it was? Some kind of message someone left here for us?
I am merely entertaining the possibility. Whether it was Dahna's will, or somehow connected to the Sovereign and Maiden's powers, I do not know.
Okay, back up a sec. You're saying that if a place is full of enough astral energy, it can somehow show us events that happened centuries ago?
More to the point, how does that much astral energy gather in one place anyway? Seems unlikely it happened naturally.
Whatever it was, it survived here intact for 300 years. Whoever left it for us, the strength of their intent is beyond doubt.
The strength of their intent.
Mhm. Schauen wir uns mal, der Weg uns mal hinführt. Schauen wir mal, schauen wir mal. Schauen wir mal.
Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out.
Ich würde mich kurz erstmal hochhalten. Ah, okay, wir müssen dahin. Shit. Schauen wir uns das halt eben an.
This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
Ich finde die Hören immer noch saugeil. Okay, jetzt wird wieder hier sehr, sehr viel gequatscht. Bam. Okay, aber hier sehe ich soweit nichts mehr. Ich muss sagen, dass die grünen Pflanzen finde ich extrem geil. Die finde ich, liebe ich. Finde ich ultra geil. Sowas will ich mir auch in die Wohnung reinstellen. Als Deko. Finde ich voll stark. Frageschlüsse, die auch irgendwann mal neue Deko Star Wars Sky. Ja, werde ich mir denke ich auch holen. Habe ich mir auch erst vor ein paar Tagen angeschaut. Habe ich mir auch erst vor ein paar Tagen angeschaut. Die Skywalker Saga. Finde ich eigentlich cool, ganz cool gemacht. Auch mit den alten Teilen. So ein bisschen halt Art Remastered, glaube ich, ist das. Finde ich ganz cool. Finde ich ganz cool. Also ich denke schon.
I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Dahnan astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure taking the form of a Dahnan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign.
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the master cores. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
Das heißt, er wurde gezüchtet.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name...
Shion. Nee, Wuron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
Das ist der Schwertfutzi gewesen.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign, and Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
Interessant.
Only 2 sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all this time? And if that's the case, why keep on doing it? Was there really no other way? Or could there be some other reason?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
I'm fine. I'm just a little shaken, that's all. I knew what I was already, so it's not like it's a surprise or anything. But it's strange. I've got all this rage inside of me, but I don't even know who it's for. I'm scared that I'll put a face to it, just to have someone to blame.
If that were to happen, then No. Then we'd help you fight it, before you ever got that far. Wouldn't we, everyone?
Yeah, we wouldn't just sit by and watch you spiral out of control.
That's right. No good can come from being consumed by hatred.
If you ever start to lose your way, you can count on us to guide you back. To remind you where home is.
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear, should you ever have need.
Thank you, everyone. I think I'll be okay now.
For the people of Lenegis, the Forbidden Zone is the stuff of dreams. Yet here I am, standing within its hallowed halls.
It's off limits even for lords, then? Talk about an exclusive club.
Being exclusive is one thing, but how many important facilities let in only the sovereign? Doesn't that seem a little strange?
Strange doesn't cover it. If it was only one room, maybe. But a place on this scale? How do they keep it from falling into ruin? Whoever the sovereign is, they can't manage the upkeep of this whole place themselves.
Did no one ever talk about it when you were growing up?
No, not that I can remember. Then again, sovereigns and forbidden zones weren't exactly breakfast table conversations.
The Forbidden Zone is a hallowed place, at one with the sovereign's authority, grounds of the one true ruler who presides over all Renans. That is what we believed this place to be. No, what we were made to believe it was. But now, it is finally time to discover this area's true purpose, and why it was kept hidden behind the scenes for so long.
Schwierig, das ganze Thema. Sehr, sehr schwierig. Strahlenergie.
Naori,
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dahna. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
Also, aber es ist immer noch kein Grund gewesen, warum wir die Maske aufbekommen haben.
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lennigus will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lennigus.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.
Wir wären quasi also ohne diese Maske gestorben. Nicht einerseits in der heutigen Zeit. Nicht wahr? Habe ich so das Gefühl. Ich hätte gern einen Spot, wo ich mich hochreihen könnte. Falls es irgendwie möglich wäre.
This place. We've seen this in one of Naori's memories.
Of course. After 300 years, this is where it was held. The spirit channeling ceremony. This is where the Renis Alma was.
So this is the place where you and Naori...
The Renis Alma isn't here now. Nor is the Red Woman, it seems.
I know it's difficult, Alphen, but there will be time to dwell on the past later. For now, we need to keep moving. Come on.
Naori.
What is this?
Die Frage ist, lebt sie noch?
Will again?
Das ist die Frage, die ich mir stelle.
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome.
Is this another memory? No, it's different this time. It's like she's speaking directly to us.
What we did back then. Not so much as a day passes when I don't think about it. About what was done to us. All in the name of a ceremony. The purpose of which we were never even told. As sovereign, they linked Alphen's consciousness to Lenegis itself. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks. That day, as Maiden, my role was to temper his power. I was meant to guide it forth, and give shape to the strength inside of him.
Linked to Lenegis itself? But then, everything that's been happening...
But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. When I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash, I couldn't go through with it. But without a maiden, the ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. I did what I could. Using my abilities as the maiden, I tried to seal that power away inside of me. But it was too late. Lenegis had already been brought to its knees. Thousands upon thousands of lives so cruelly snuffed out. All because of me. Because of what I had done. With the destructive force now slumbering inside of me, I knew I had to find a way to dispose of it. Anything to make up for my failure. But I didn't know how. Especially since that power was astral energy itself. In which case, ironically enough, the Renaners Alma seemed to be my best bet. That, at least, would hold the astral energy dormant. Assuming that no malevolent third party got to it first. With the Sovereign and Maiden's combined power, perhaps I could shift the chaotic energy inside me into the Renaners Alma instead. That's what I hoped, but alas, it was not to be. The Renaners Alma was lost, and Alphen, the Sovereign, was in a starship bound for Dahna. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the Maiden, to buy the world what little time I could.
Mit meinen Jungen vermächten.
For a new Renaners Alma to be crafted, and for a new Sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse onto my descendants as well. Please, forgive me. I never meant to burden the future world with this threat too. I only wish that there was something more I could have done.
Wait, you can't just...
Naori.
That message just now, was it directly from Naori? Or was it the Dahnan voice speaking through her?
What?
These are the clothes that Naori and I wore during the ceremony 3 centuries ago.
So you're saying this is the Maiden's outfit?
That's right. These clothes are designed to resonate with the Sovereign and Maiden's abilities. They focus and enhance them.
And they appeared now because...
Naori must have left them here for the new Sovereign and Maiden, knowing the day would come when they would need them in their fight against the Thorns.
These outfits are directly linked to the answers we've been chasing this whole time. If they're here, it must mean it was Naori's will for us to find those answers as well.
Locating the Renaners Alma would allow us to neutralize the dark astral energy inside Xion, thereby silencing her thorns. Is that what Naori's suggesting?
It makes sense. After all, Master Cores and Spirit Vessels are both able to prevent the astral energy inside them from developing sentience. By that logic, it would stand to reason that the Renaners Alma would have the same ability on a larger scale.
We have a Maiden and Sovereign. Now all we need is the Renaners Alma, and we'll finally be able to free you of your thorns. Xion.
It's possible? You really think so?
I do. We can rid you of your thorns and stop the world from falling to oblivion.
However, the spirit channeling ceremony already failed once. Even if our goal is different this time, we can't be sure the same thing won't happen again. We should take care not to be too optimistic.
You're right. It's the barest sliver of a chance. But if there's even the slightest hope it can work, I'm willing to stake everything I've got on it.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in. It'd be strange if you weren't over the moon about it.
Rinwell's right. We can rid you of your curse and still save the world at the same time.
Thank you. Naori entrusted us with the fate of all humanity. Now, it's up to us to prove that trust was well placed.
Starting with a little game called Hunt the Renis Alma.
Yeah, we've come all this way. Now we just need to search Lenegis and Rena until we find it.
Yeah, we can protect the world and save Shion at the same time.
I too shall lend my services. My knowledge of Renan lore is bound to be a useful asset.
And they say modesty is dead.
Miracles just seem to follow wherever you go, huh?
How do you know it's me they're following? We're all in this together, Shion. You included. Now let's get moving, shall we? Last I heard, we had an apocalypse to stop. Thank you, Naori. So Naori sealed away the power that made me lose control of myself. She stopped my rampage and saved my life. But then, that power she'd sealed away was passed down to you. I'm so sorry, Shion. It's my fault that you're cursed.
You're wrong. What happened to you was because of the ceremony and Naori's attempt to stop oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it, and then fell asleep for 300 years. The reason you lost your memories
is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can finally put an end to all this.
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing could be possible. No, the truth is, I think maybe I've always been dreaming about a life without my thorns. The touch of my family, or playing with my friends, holding hands with Rinwell, or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone. All the normal things that people do together. I always wished I could experience them for myself, and finally know what they were like. Is it really okay for me to believe it can happen? I'm so scared of getting my hopes up. What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
That's not going to happen. I'm here to make sure it won't. Forget fate or destiny or anything else. We're going to live a normal life. There are a lot of things you still want to do, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's such a strange feeling. I know that we've still got plenty of fighting up ahead, and it's for my sake, so I can live.
You're worth fighting for.
I believe you, Alphen.
Good. I'll keep on fighting. For as long as it takes. Until our future is finally in our hands.
Oh. Okay, das ist anscheinend das neue Schwert. Das macht 156 mehr Angriff, 137 Elementarangriff und 135 Durchdringen. Und sieht auch echt nice aus. Aber guck mal, die Optik hat sich auch geändert. Hä? Okay, muss mal gleich nachschauen. Ich finde es gerade ein bisschen... Okay, es ist jetzt automatisch ausgerüstet. Okay. Wo ich das tatsächlich auch schon sehr nice finde. Ist eigentlich hier das Schattennaster am besten dazu? Für Bauernkleidung. Oh. Ja, was anderes hier.
Sounds like this Naori chick had quite the big heart.
Her position demanded nothing less. From the sound of things, she didn't focus on differences, least of all those between Renans and Dahnans.
Yeah. It was Naori who first showed me that such a thing was even possible. And then she saved my life by sending me back home to Dahna.
Not only that, but she willingly stayed behind on Lenegis for the sake of her people. It sounds like she was quite the hero, all right. A truly caring person.
It's as if walls meant nothing to her. The ones separating the Renans from the Dahnans, or herself from others. She had no need for them.
Which basically meant that she never had anything to break down in the first place, huh? Yeah. I think you may be right about that.
You inherited that legacy. Her wish for the world.
Don't I know it?
She's kind of like a lodestar guiding our way, showing us what we can aspire to.
Muss kurz was nachschauen, Moment. Okay, passt. Kann ich mich vielleicht jetzt hier irgendwo hochhalten? Das wird echt nice. Sich jetzt hier irgendwo hochhalten. Das werden wir jetzt aber gleich mal sehen.
That's quite some door, all right. This might finally be it. The heart of the beast.
We'll find the Rena's Alma and the Red Woman inside, right?
After everything we've been through to get here, they damn well better be.
We'll probably be needing you to open this one for us, Sovereign.
Go for it, Alphen.
This is it, guys. Time to see what secrets are in store.
Okay, da haben wir uns wieder hoch. Ich hoffe, kein Endboss.
We're a long way from the residential quarters now. It looks completely different.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, this place... it reminds me more of being back inside the wedge.
Except the Dahnan astral energy feels even stronger here.
In a portion of the city reserved purely for the Renan sovereign.
Maybe he just has strange tastes?
This place looks like it has been here for quite some time now. If its design were a matter of personal preference, we would be talking from centuries ago. Or perhaps even further back. Still, this isn't the sort of decadence of taste spoken of in artistic circles. So what is it then?
Hold up, decadence? Artistic circles?
When a preference is indulged to its extreme, it descends into kitsch, eccentricity for the sake of it. I'd be happy to illuminate you further.
That depends. Does it involve you buying me lunch?
The void that art fills isn't the stomach, it's the soul.
In that case, I'll let you know the next time my soul starts to rumble.
Now all we need is something to fill up the void inside your head.
Shut up!
Okay, hochhalten. Yes. Ich glaube, jetzt kommt wieder ein Bossfight. Vielleicht. Könnte ich mir vorstellen.
Volron! He really was still alive.
And there's the Rena's Alma. Then, is this another spirit channeling ceremony?
Wait, though. Something doesn't seem right here.
Once more, the powers must be united.
Das ist der Meisterkern? Der ist gefesselt.
What has happened to him? He's lost himself, reduced to a mere cog in a machine.
Hey, look! Over there!
Isn't that the Maiden's crest?
Can it be that this entire chamber is meant to act as a substitute for the Maiden?
It looks like it's still running, but are we already too late to stop the ceremony?
If that's what caused Lenegis' transformation, then the purpose of the ceremony must have been to drain all the astral energy out of Dahna.
But for what purpose? What could possibly need astral energy on that sort of scale?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll bet it's connected to those visions of oblivion. Regardless, we cannot stand by and let them steal Dahna's energy. That said, we should retrieve the Rena's Alma. Because right now, we need that most of all.
He's not gonna lunge at us out of nowhere, right?
Not the time, Law.
Alvin, look!
The Red Woman! So we finally found you. I have a lot of questions for you.
Wait!
What?
They all have the same face? How is that even possible?
Okay, Bossfight. Sehr schön, da haben wir gar nicht drauf gewartet.
What is this?
Who the hell are they?
It can't... Are they even people?
It's hard to know for sure, but I
Ich denke, das werden wir jetzt gleich
they're the
rausfinden.
true rulers of Rena.
Bossfight? Bossfight.
It's no use, Alvin. If we don't fight, we may as well be sitting just here.
Good point. Let's stop them before this gets out of hand.
Here, let me help.
Denied!
Annihilation!
In a bind? Now you see what I can do!
Raining
Will this help? Come forward! The fury!
Shield and take!
Dance to the wind! On guard! Air thrust! Annihilate! Photon On guard!
Raining flash!
That'll bring you down! Look sharp! Here! In here! More for the stockpile! Take guard! The power got you! Flame of fury!
Take this! No further!
Try harder!
Not in your dreams!
Ready and ready!
Photon dance in the wind!
Let me have
Air thrust! Denied! Blah, blah, blah!
Okay, ein Viertel haben wir.
Eat this!
Firmament surrender!
Raining flash!
Arrow slow! Now we're something good! Here's the lightning condense!
Ah!
Their arcs were interrupted!
Blow away!
Here's a waterfall! First aid! Falling storm! Warning power! Glacial spear! This one's mine! Not on my watch! Free flamer!
Going in!
Here's a healing! First aid! Punch it!
Blow away!
Shattering the gale! Hand strike!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Going in!
Away! Raining
Thunder
flash!
field!
Blow away!
Dance in the wind!
Raining flash!
Sleep now! More for the
Try harder!
Radiant Ray!
Healing circle!
Now you see what I can do!
Going in! Freezing storm! Lightning descent!
Look sharp! Radiant Flash!
Illuminate the top Holy Raid! Hurricane Violation! Mega Ray! Lightning! Flame of Fury! Burning Strike! Here, let me out! Light up the sky! First aid! All disasters made one! Consort the healing Fury! Here goes! Target away! Not a hero!
So ein Viertel noch.
Take this!
I never miss!
No further!
Going in! Select a
Radiant Flash! Blow away! Radiant Flash! Blow away!
Not on my watch! I'm gone! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Blow away!
Here, I'll heal you all! I'll be saving this one! Don't leave me! Thanks so much! Sleep now!
Shattering
I'll be saving this one!
Attack time!
Like astral energy! Far enough! Sleep now! I'll be saving this one! First aid!
Komm, 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 komm.
Magic is there! Flame of fury! Here's the evil high flash! Dance to the wind! Air primed and ready! First aid! Where are you going? Here goes! Make it rain! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
I'll heal you all!
Yes.
Surrender! Fighting is useless now! Do you think it's really over?
Astral energy. Watch out! They've got something up their sleeve!
What? It's self-destructed?
Alvin!
I'm okay. Just a little roughed up.
You had me worried there.
Who said you could touch that?
Damn it! He's awake!
I should have thought as much. So you know this place? Naturally, it was built for me, after all. We'll save that for another time. More pressing is how I'm going to tear you apart. Even after all this time, you still insist on hating me? You cut me down. Sovereign or not, you will pay for that.
You're obviously bluffing. You can't even move right now.
Really, is that what you think? Did you really think that such a petty device could hold me?
Are you going to claim it's because you're a ruler? Be it sovereigns or lords. In the end, they're all titles given by someone else.
Plus, what kind of ruler would spend all his time chasing Alf, who happens to be another sovereign?
Idle prattle. I proved my worth and the Sovereign's powers were granted to me.
Were they really? We already know the title of Sovereign doesn't denote royalty. It is but an overblown codename for those with a designated part to play in these proceedings. You mentioned before that you were not the only one stolen from Dahna, correct?
Yeah. There were countless. And every one of them besides me died.
All of those failed experiments, and they still kept going back to Dahna. There must have been some vital reason their subject had to specifically be a Dahnan. Then there were the records we found in the library, for you and Volron. They were logged 300 years apart, and yet the data they took from you was exactly the same. Which leads us to a single conclusion.
Then you mean Voron was kidnapped just like Alphen? But then he became a
slave from Dahna. Just like us. Isn't that right, Volron?
So he posed as a Renan and caused all that suffering to his own people?
How could you? If you knew the pain of being a slave, why would you inflict that upon others?
Renan and Dahna are meaningless distinctions. Me and everyone else. That is all that matters. I will stand above all others and take what is rightfully mine, starting with this.
A red woman?
Another one?
Give your master back on Rena this message. No one makes a fool of me. Let them know I'll make them suffer.
Don't do it!
Serenus Alma!
It's too late. You can't stay here.
We need to go. Alphen!
Schafft sie nicht.
Go. But know I will be your shadow no matter where you try to run.
Let's go.
Never forget, I am the one who devours everything. Who answers to neither spirit nor man. My word is law. I am.
Ich bin Gandalf.
Are you two okay?
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Is Volron... Have we finally seen the last of him?
We can but hope.
Those red women. What the heck was their deal?
Could they be the ones behind all this? The same ones who put those soldiers in Faria in a trance?
What, those brainless things? Either way, they've done a runner with the Renaner Alma. Damn it, that's the second time now!
Whatever's stolen from us, we'll steal it back. The future's ours to protect. And right now, those things are what's standing in our way. We can head them off at Rena.
Did you say Rena?
Volron mentioned a master of theirs holed up in the motherland somewhere.
If that monstrous form's their true identity, I shudder to think who they take orders from.
Yeah. There's a good chance it's not human. That's for sure.
So this thing over on Rena, that's what's really behind all this, huh?
They have the Renaner Alma in their grasp already. so it's unlikely they'll have cause to return to Dahna. I agree that Rena's our best shot.
Then we're agreed. Let's head back to the starship.
But seriously, I was not expecting Volron to actually be here.
He seemed to care not one whit about Renans or Dahnans.
Yeah, not in a good way like with us.
I didn't see that coming about Volron. As for those red women, to think they were monsters all along.
Tell me about it. One minute they look perfectly human. Next thing you know, they're not actually human at all.
They definitely weren't Renan or Dahnan. I'm not even sure language would get through to them.
So what were they then? Human Zoogle hybrids?
Is the most terrifying thing anyone said all day?
How about you, Shion? Dohalim? You ever seen anything like that before?
No, never. However, if they're the same as the red woman we've seen with Volron, I think it's safe for us to assume they understand our language at the very least.
I had just so much I wanted to ask them. About Rena and Shion's thorns.
Unfortunately, they blew themselves up before we got the chance. Why would they do such a thing, though? To take us with them? Or in order to keep something hidden?
Both sound plausible to my ears. They took off with the Renis Alma too, remember?
Yeah, they did. And the next time we meet them, we're going to make sure they tell us everything they know.
Wollen wir jetzt überhaupt hier nochmal lang? Nee, ne? Nee. Gut, dann einmal wieder runterdüsen und zurückdüsen. Verbotene Zone. So. Dann wieder weiter zurück. Kein gutes Zeichen. Ich hoffe, nicht schon wieder ein Bossfight jetzt. Das wäre echt krass. Okay, wir müssen tatsächlich durchlaufen. Wir haben nicht die Möglichkeit, schnell zu reisen. Das ist ein wenig ungeil.
Do my best. The flame inside
I'm the true gunslinger around here. My judgment.
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
This one's mine. Support.
Not today.
Not in your dreams.
Far enough! Can't get out of this! Release! Armor won't save you!
Now,
Yes, sir! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Alpha!
here, let me help. Oh,
An astral art?
that's my cue.
Coming through. Ha! Now. Scarlet Inferno.
May a thousand nails tear you to shreds.
One's all mine.
Gaudy nails. In the sky. Astral energy.
Say no more.
Illuminate the dark.
You picked the wrong fight.
Do it.
Pick small. Look sharp.
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Don't get complacent.
Genau, hier lang. So, dann ist mein Weg wieder zurück. Hier haben wir eine Truhe noch. Rezept für Erdbeerkuchen. Boah. Boah. Erdbeerkuchen. Fühle ich gerade schon irgendwie.
We seem to have come across something a little unusual.
Jetzt habe ich voll Bock auf Erdbeerkuchen. Schöne leckere Käse, Sahne, Erdbeer, Torte, Kuchen, was auch immer. Wird mich jetzt auch ein bisschen, ne? Wird mich jetzt schon ein bisschen jucken. In den Fingern,
What the?
im Magen.
When did it get pitch dark all of a sudden?
The lights are all out. Think it has something to do with the explosion back in the Forbidden Zone?
Doe?
You two.
Faria, Avakir. Thank goodness you're safe.
Avakir filled me in about everything. About how I ambushed you all.
She doesn't remember.
Schon will ich sie nicht mehr töten.
So she really was being controlled.
He told me about Tarnigan, too. Is it true?
What difference does it make? What's done is done.
Stop casting me off, just for once!
Faria, not now. It can wait. Dohalim, Lenegus is in grave peril.
So I can see.
It's the city's core reactor. It's damaged. Some of the basic systems we've managed to keep online, but complete restoration's still a way off.
You're an elite technician, though. You can fix it, right?
If so, then what's the problem?
Panic's begun to set in among the citizens. Until now, whenever something like this happened, the Sovereign would issue a decree. But this time, not so much as a peep. Any longer, and we run the risk of riots breaking out before we can get things back up and running.
Forget the Sovereign. I doubt you'll be hearing from him anytime soon.
What's that supposed to mean? Do you know something I don't?
Suffice it to say, the Sovereign isn't the kind of ruler we thought he was. That is, if he ever even existed, which is looking doubtful at this stage.
Are you out of your mind? Why, if people knew that a lord such as yourself was whispering such blasphemy, they'd...
There's no time to explain now. It sounds like we need to find a way to keep Lenegus from spiraling out of control.
We need to stop that riot.
But how do we do that?
Riots feed on discontent and unrest, right? So if we want to keep the peace, we just need to put people's minds at ease.
At ease? Like by letting them hear directly from someone they trust. That's it. Who's the highest-ranking person in Lenegis right now?
Lenegis wouldn't have a next in line. After all, you said the Sovereign rules over everyone directly, right?
Correct. The closest thing to an authority figure would be a lord. And the only one left is... Ah. Very well then. Avakir, you mentioned a few facilities were still online. Which ones?
Why hasn't the Sovereign said anything?
Please, won't somebody explain what's going on?
Is it over? What's going to happen to all of us?
Heed me now, fellow Renans of Lenegis. It is I, Lord Dohalim Ilkaris of Eldamenencia.
Look, up there! It's Lord Dohalim!
Hold on! He should be in the crown contest! Shouldn't he? Why isn't the Sovereign talking to us?
The Sovereign is seeing to other matters right now. In my capacity as Lord, I speak to you in his stead. You're afraid, as people so often are when faced with the unknown. I hope you'll allow me to put your fears to rest. The city's core reactor has experienced a malfunction. However, we have our top engineers attending to the matter, and things will soon be back to normal. I know that you feel abandoned, perhaps more scared and alone than ever before. But I ask you all to keep one thing in mind. You are Lenegis, not the lords and sovereign. The solidarity of its citizens is the mortar that holds it together. If we don't allow ourselves to be distracted by our differences, if we put our hearts and minds together and stand as one, I am confident we will find new hope. I would be honored to stand with you. Not as a person of loftier rank, but as another human being among many. I hope that you'll lend me your strength, for if we can persevere as one, I know a bright tomorrow awaits.
Your speech seems to have done the trick. Looks like the city won't be descending into chaos after all.
I only pray the relief will tide the city over for the time being.
What you said earlier, about the Sovereign possibly not even existing, was it true?
It's still too premature to say with any certainty, but I believe so. This whole time, this world we've been fed was a lie, built on nothing but falsehoods.
But it can't all have been...
I can believe it. After everything I saw in the Forbidden Zone, what they did to Faria, it's the only explanation that makes sense.
But what about hierarchy, Avakir? Authority? The very foundations of Renan society? How can we live without someone to guide us?
I'd say we found someone capable of doing just that, wouldn't you?
You? You can't be serious.
I have business I must take care of first. But once everything is over, I shall return. But not as your sovereign, nor as a leader the likes of which the people here are used to, I think.
But how else do you propose to rule?
I'm not sure yet. All I have is a feeling that here in Lenegis, a new dawn is on the verge of breaking. One in which people won't be judged by birthright, or on the power of their astral arts, but on other things. More important things. Things like, oh, I don't know, musical talent, for example.
When I bumped into you after all those years, I said you were no different. But I was wrong. Truth is, you were always different. I feel like maybe now I can finally begin to accept Tarnigan's death. To see a future.
You go finish whatever it is you've got to do. I'll hold down the fort here in Lenegis till you get back.
Thank you.
I guess you're not going to make it to Menancia for the foreseeable future, huh?
Indeed. Forgive me.
The people of Elda Menancia can look after themselves just fine. It's the ones here on Lenegus who need someone to guide them. Besides, with you leading the people here, it'll help spread the idea of coexistence beyond Menancia's borders that much faster.
Sounds like you're in it for the long haul.
How could I not be, after the second chance that I've been granted? From this day forth, I shall dedicate myself to the future inhabitants of this world. Though the memories of the departed shall remain forever in my heart.
Remember, you're going to be leading the people here, not ruling them.
True enough. Whatever would I do without you, Kisara?
With or without her, I suspect you're gonna have your hands full when the time comes. We should be heading back to the ship. Business on Rena awaits.
Das heißt, er wird quasi kompletter Herrscher, nicht gewollter Herrscher über die Renaner. Das ist krass. Das ist krass.
In one sense, when all is said and done, perhaps I have been a slave this whole time too.
You, a Renan lord? How do you figure that exactly?
I was complicit in the Renan system, bound by its values, resigned to being swept along, without the resolve to take a stand. And when I realized the severity of my mistake, all I longed for was punishment. A lord. And yet my first instinct was to place my fate in the hands of others.
I think I can relate. I couldn't stand watching my people bow and scrape their way through life, but I didn't know what else I could do about it either. The ability to think for yourself and be your own master. That's what separates a slave from a free person. At least, that's what Law's dad Zephyr used to say. Zephyr taught me how to fight. But in doing so, he also taught me how to live.
Even if it means stumbling along the way. If it's on a road of our own choosing, free of regret. Why, that's the road of freedom. Or, to put it another way, so long as his heart is compromised, even the loftiest of kings is no freer than a slave. I think I finally understand now. This Zephyr character sounds like he was a wise man indeed. I only wish I could have met him.
There's just so much I wish I could ask him, especially now. I wonder, have I been correctly carrying on the torch that he passed to me?
No.
How long have you known?
Known what?
About the darkness I carry inside me. You seem to have been aware of it for quite some time now.
Why ask me now? What does it matter? But yes, I have. I've pretty much known that something was gnawing at you ever since we left Menancia.
So basically since the very start of our journey then. Just when I thought I couldn't feel more ashamed.
Leave the past where it belongs. We have no need for it now. You're forging ahead. That's what matters. If my brother could see you, he'd be proud.
Not as proud as he would be of his sister, I'm sure.
Well then, just as well it's not a competition, huh?
Kisara? Anyone at home in there?
Sorry. Did I look distracted?
Among other things. To be entirely honest, I couldn't tell whether you were smiling or frowning.
You were thinking about Dohalim, weren't you?
That obvious, huh? I was just thinking how good it is to see him moving forward at last. It was always so infuriating, knowing how capable he could be if he just put his mind to it. A prisoner trapped in a cage of his own self-doubt. But now, he's finally beginning to spread his wings. I'm happy for him.
So, then why do you look so sad?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say sad. There's a bittersweetness to it, I guess. It's good and strange, knowing that he won't be needing me anymore. It probably sounds weird, doesn't it? I have this massive worry off my mind. I should be jumping up and down for joy, right?
Must be that maternal instinct of yours at work.
Rinwell's right. You're like a mother bird, finally letting go as her child takes his first shaking and nervous flight from the nest.
A pretty big child.
That's one way to look at it. I wouldn't like to see Dohalim's face if he heard you say that. All this has made me realize I can't allow myself to become a prisoner of my own making like he was. If Dohalim can forge his own path ahead, then I can too. I won't be left behind.
Aber wie krass zerstört noch die Stadt ist. Aber es sieht so nice aus mit dem Reaktor. Es sieht echt so unfassbar geil aus. Geradeaus. Ja, komm, wir können mal hier noch kurz mit dem quatschen.
Yes! Yes!
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
Das haben wir eigentlich schon alles gelesen gehabt vorhin. So, wo es nicht abgespeichert hatte. Das sind die 3 Dinge, die wir schon durchgelesen hatten. Das hat's nur nicht abgespeichert beim Absturz. Ja, ohne Doktor, ja. Gut.
What?
Ganabelt was so horrible to people, yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Dahnans? When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you, because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Dahnan doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust, as a fellow human being above all else.
Ja, heute ist ja sehr, sehr ruhig. Also schon in den letzten Tagen immer so ruhig. So macht es irgendwie wirklich nicht irgendwie so wirklich Spaß zum Streamen. Schon seit Tagen so und das ist echt demotivierend. Ja, ich schaue auf zu streamen. Es macht so einfach keinen Spaß zu streamen. Da muss man nachschauen. Vor ein paar Tagen war es auch so gewesen. Vorgestern, glaube ich, war es gewesen. 3 Stunden, keine einzige Chatnachricht. 3 Stunden. Ja, am Mittwoch war es. 3 Stunden, keine einzige Chatnachricht. Über 3 Stunden. Ich habe so keine Lust zu streamen mehr. Es ist so demotivierend. Ich habe mittlerweile überhaupt gar keine Lust mehr zu streamen. Ich hatte es einmal mit dem Internet ultra abgefuckt und jetzt nervt es mich genauso, weil halt nichts los ist. Jetzt funktioniert zwar das Internet, das ist echt geil und ich freue mich echt mega drüber. Aber im Chat ist halt nichts los. Nichts. Nada. Null. Tot. Wie ein abgestochenes Schwein. Ja, probier es morgen nochmal. Vielleicht ist morgen ein bisschen mehr los. Streamplan ist ja ab 14 Uhr. Dann mache ich auch ganz normal weiter. Beziehungsweise fangen wir an mit Mass Effect. Und ich kann's nur hoffen. Macht's gut, schlaft alle gut, schönen Start ins Wochenende. Tschüssi, Krowski.